I'm going on a date with a coworker, my wife calmly said after 18 years together. I warned her, if you walk out that door, everything is going to change. She ignored me and left. What happened next completely destroyed her in ways she never imagined. When my wife asked for space, I didn't imagine that space included a 31-year-old salesman and a cheap hotel for temporary use. My name is Ryan, I'm 46, and I've spent the last 2 decades building something solid, a successful auto parts wholesale company in Phoenix, Arizona, a beautiful house in Scottsdale, and what I believed was an unbreakable marriage. Jessica and I met in our 20s, back when I was starting my marketing degree. We built our life together, brick by brick. 2 children, Brandon, 16, and Emma, 11, completed what I thought was the perfect picture. But perfection is just an illusion, isn't it? The afternoon everything fell apart started like any other Tuesday. I arrived home from the warehouse around 6 p.m., loosened my tie, and found Jessica in the kitchen. She wasn't cooking. She was standing next to the counter, a glass of wine in her hand, looking out the window with that distant expression I'd been seeing in her more and more lately. "Hi," I said, kissing her cheek. She barely turned her face. "We need to talk," she said coldly. Those 2 words never mean anything good. I pulled out a chair at the kitchen table, already feeling a knot in my stomach. Jessica sat across from me, swirling the wine in her glass, as if looking for courage at the bottom of the cup. "I've been feeling trapped," she began, without looking into my eyes, "like I'm living on autopilot. Ryan, I need something for myself, something exciting." I leaned forward, trying to understand. "Okay, what are you saying? Do you want to take a course? Travel?" She finally looked at me, and what I saw in her eyes sent a chill down my spine. "I'm going out on a date," she said simply, "with someone from work." The words hit me like a freight train. I just sat there, stunned, waiting for a joke that never came. "A date?" I repeated, my voice barely a whisper. "You're married, Jessica. We have children. What are you talking about?" She placed the glass on the table with deliberate calm. "This isn't about you, Ryan. I just need to feel alive again. I'll make it up to you later. I promise to make it up." As if she were asking to use the car for the weekend. 18 years of marriage, and she was asking my permission to be unfaithful, like it was some kind of experimental separation. "Jessica, if you walk out that door to meet another man, there will be no coming back. I'm warning you, this will change everything," I said, my voice firm despite the rising anger. She stood up, grabbing her purse from the counter. "You're overreacting. I just need space to figure out who I am." I watched her walk to the door, and every step felt like a knife twisting inside me. Part of me wanted to grab her, shake her until she came to her senses, but I was paralyzed, clinging to the edge of the table until my fingers turned white. The door closed behind her, and the house fell silent, except for the sound of my own breathing. That's when I knew. The woman I married was gone, and the battle for everything I built was just beginning. The night Jessica went on the date, I didn't sleep. I stayed in the home office staring at the wall, trying to process what had happened. Brandon came downstairs around 10 p.m. to grab a snack in the kitchen. "Dad, where's Mom?" he asked, leaning against the door frame. I tried to sound normal. "She went out with some friends. She'll be back later." He nodded, but I saw the doubt in his eyes. At 16, he was smart enough to realize something was wrong. "Okay, good night, Dad." "Good night, son." When he went back to his room, I picked up my laptop and did something I never thought I would do. I checked our bank account. The joint account Jessica and I shared showed transactions I didn't recognize. Dinner at a fancy Italian restaurant downtown, a designer clothing store, a spa visit last Tuesday. She hadn't mentioned any of that to me. I gritted my teeth as I kept scrolling. 3 months of charges, all small enough not to raise immediate suspicion, but together they formed a clear picture. She had been planning this. Around 2 a.m., I heard the garage door open. Jessica walked in, the sound of her heels echoing on the wooden floor. She looked refreshed, happy even. That hurt more than anything else. "You're still up?" she asked, putting her purse on the counter. I stood up from the couch, keeping my distance. "How was your date?" She shrugged, avoiding my eyes. "Look, Ryan, I know you're upset, but this isn't about you." "It is about me." My voice rose despite my efforts to remain calm. "Jessica, you are my wife. You are the mother of our children. Everything you do affects us." She finally looked at me, her expression hardened. "I'm tired of just being Ryan's wife, just the kid's mom. I need to be myself." "And who is the guy you need to be yourself with?" I asked, taking a step closer. "What's his name?" "Tyler," she said defendingly. "He's a sales manager at work. He listens to me, Ryan. He makes me feel seen." Tyler. Now the ghost had a name. "How long?" I asked in a low voice. She hesitated. "A few months. It started as just talking, but a few months." The betrayal hit me like a physical blow. "You've been lying to me for months." Jessica grabbed your purse and walked up the stairs. "I'm not going to argue about this tonight. I'm exhausted." I watched as she walked away, each step twisting the knife further inside me. But when the door to our bedroom closed upstairs, something shifted inside me. The pain began to crystallize into something else: determination. She wanted to play games, but she underestimated who she was playing with. The next morning, I made a decision. I called my brother Kyle. "I need your help," I said when he answered. "Jess is having an affair, and I need to know everything." Kyle hesitated. "I know a guy, the best private investigator in Phoenix. Let me make a call." After I hung up, I looked at the family photo on my desk. Jessica, me, Brandon, and Emma, all smiling on a beach trip 3 years ago. That version of us no longer existed. Now it was time to fight for what remained. On Friday morning, I met Kyle at a coffee shop near my warehouse. He was already there when I arrived, sipping black coffee. My older brother had always been the more level-headed one, a successful electrical contractor who had already faced many ups and downs in life. "You look rough," Kyle said as I sat down. "I feel even worse," I replied, ordering a coffee from the waitress. Kyle leaned forward, his expression serious. "Tell me everything." I told him everything. Jessica's announcement, the date, the bank statements, Tyler Brooks. With every detail, Kyle's jaw tightened. 18 years, he said, shaking his head, and she throws it all away for some office kid. I stirred my coffee, heavy with exhaustion. "I need to know what I'm dealing with, Kyle. Is it an emotional affair, or has it gone beyond that?" Kyle picked up his phone. "I called Greg this morning, best detective in the city. He's expensive, but worth every penny. He did surveillance work for a client of mine who was going through a horrible divorce. The guy is a bloodhound." He texted me Greg's number. "Call him today. The sooner you know what you're facing, the sooner you can protect yourself and the kids." "And what about Jessica?" I asked, a part of me still wanting to fix this. Kyle's expression hardened. "Ryan, listen to me. The woman you married wouldn't do this. Whatever Jessica has become, she's not thinking about you or the kids. You need to accept that and start protecting what matters." The words hurt because they were true. "One more thing," Kyle continued, lowering his voice. "You need to talk to a lawyer. Even if you're not ready to file anything, you need to know your options. Amanda Foster handled my friend's custody case. She's as tough as they come and doesn't pull any punches." I nodded, feeling the weight of reality settle in. This wasn't just a marriage falling apart, it was survival. "And one last thing," Kyle said, lowering his voice. "Don't let Jessica know what you're doing. No confrontations, no threats. Gather evidence in silence. Get your life in order. And when the time comes, hit her all at once." "That sounds cold," I said. "It's strategic," corrected Kyle. "She already showed you who she is. Believe her." After coffee, I sat in my truck and called Greg Viter. He answered on the second ring. Greg Viter. Mr. Viter, my name is Ryan Ishii. My brother Kyle gave me your number. I need your help. Tell me what's going on, Greg said, his voice professional but not without compassion. I explained everything. Jessica's affair, Tyler Brooks, the need for evidence. I can help, Greg said, but I need everything you have. Phone numbers, addresses, work schedules. The more information you give me, the faster I can act. When can we meet? This afternoon, at 2. I'll text you the office address. As I drove to the warehouse, something shifted inside me. The pain was still there, but there was something underneath, something harder, sharper. A determination to protect my children and everything I built. Greg Viter's office was in an unmarked building in downtown Phoenix. I asked questions. I laughed at Emma's stories. Inside, however, I was counting the days until Greg Viter gave me the ammunition I needed. Because when the time came, Jessica was going to learn exactly what happens when you betray a man who gave you everything. 10 days later, the phone rang. It was Greg. We need to meet. I have what you asked for. My stomach clenched. Part of me hoped he hadn't found anything, that Jessica's date was just a momentary lapse, but Greg's tone suggested otherwise. I went to his office that afternoon. A thick folder lay on the desk. Greg's expression was grim. Before I show you this, he said, I want to make sure you're prepared. What's in here is going to hurt. I took a deep breath. Show me. He opened the folder. The first photograph showed Jessica and Tyler Brooks entering a cheap hotel. The timestamp read 3 days ago, 2:17 p.m. My hands were shaking as I flipped to the next image. The two of them at a restaurant, Jessica laughing, her hand on his arm. Another photo, them kissing in a parking lot. There's more, Greg said, lowering his voice, and it's not recent. I checked some records. This has been going on for at least 6 months, maybe longer. 6 months, half a year of lies. I found something else, Greg continued, pulling out a document. Financial records. Jessica has been transferring money from the joint account to a separate account, about $40,000 over the last 4 months. The betrayal hit me like a blow to the chest. She wasn't just having an affair, she was stealing from me, planning her escape strategy while I worked 60 hours a week to support her family. There's one more thing you need to know, Greg said cautiously. This guy Tyler Brooks is 31, single, and works in sales. But here's the interesting part. He's been asking around about your business contacts. I think he's trying to use your connections to get contracts. My vision blurred with rage. He's using her. All signs point to it. I did some digging. He's ambitious, not exactly known for his ethics. Your wife may think she's living a great love story, but to him, she's just a means to an end. I closed the folder. It somehow seemed to weigh twice as much. What about the case itself? Physical proof? Greg hesitated. Hotel records show they checked in together 7 times in the last 2 months. I have photos of them entering and leaving. I can't take pictures of what happens inside, but the circumstantial evidence is overwhelming. I stood up abruptly. I needed to move, to do something with the fury boiling inside me. All this time, I said, my voice hoarse, she's been pretending to be the victim, acting like I was the problem. People justify their own actions the way they need to, Greg said, but the facts don't lie. You have everything you need for court. Infidelity, financial misconduct, premeditation. Your lawyer is going to have fun with this. I picked up the folder. It seemed to contain the weight of our entire marriage. Thank you, Greg. Ryan, he said as I reached the door. One last piece of advice. Don't confront her yet. Take this to your lawyer first. Let her build your case. Emotion makes people stupid, and you need to be smart now. I nodded, even though every fiber of my being wanted to drive home and rub those pictures in Jessica's face. Instead, I sat in my truck in a parking lot and called Amanda Foster. Amanda Foster speaking. Miss Foster, my name is Ryan Ishii. I need to file for divorce. Amanda Foster's law office was in North Scottsdale. Glass and steel everywhere. Professional, imposing, intimidating. Exactly what I needed. Amanda herself must have been in her 50s, dressed in an impeccable navy suit, her gray hair pulled back in a perfectly tight bun. "Mr. Ishii," she said, shaking my hand firmly, "have a seat." I sat down across from her desk and pushed Greg's folder toward her. "This is what I'm facing." Amanda opened the folder. Her expression remained neutral as she analyzed the photos, financial records, and surveillance reports. After several minutes, she looked up. "Your wife's lawyer is going to have a bad day," she said, with a slight hint of satisfaction in her voice. "This is irrefutable. Infidelity, financial misconduct, and if you want to go that route, I can argue fraud." "And my children?" I asked. "Brandon is 16. Emma is 11. I want primary custody." Amanda nodded, taking notes. "With this evidence, your case is very strong. Your wife's behavior demonstrates poor judgment and disregard for the family's well-being. We'll request temporary custody immediately, in addition to an injunction preventing her from accessing joint accounts or making significant financial decisions." "How long will this take?" "If she contests, anywhere between 6 months to a year. But with what you've shown me, I doubt she has much of an argument." Amanda leaned back in her chair. "And here's what we're going to do. We'll file everything this week. The sheriff will serve the papers to her, likely at work. It's going to be public, it's going to be humiliating, and that's the point. We want her to immediately understand that she is no longer in control." "Good." I clenched my jaw. "But you need to be prepared for something," Amanda continued, her tone turning serious. "She will react. Women like your wife, when they realize they've been discovered, become desperate. She will try to paint you as the villain, abusive, controlling, whatever she thinks works. You need to document everything from now on. Every conversation, every message, every interaction. Understood?" "Yes." "Do you have a place to take the children for the first few days after she's served?" Amanda asked. "Things can get ugly. I thought of Kyle, my brother's house. They can stay there if necessary." "Great." Amanda stood up and extended her hand. "You're doing the right thing, Ryan. Your children are lucky to have a father willing to fight for them." As I left her office, I felt something I hadn't felt in weeks: hope. Not for the marriage, that was dead and buried, but hope that I could salvage something from the wreckage. Hope that Brandon and Emma would come through this okay. That night, I sat down with Brandon in my office. At 16, he deserved to know what was coming. "Dad, what's going on?" he asked, noticing the weight of the moment. I took a deep breath. "Your mother and I are getting a divorce. I'm filing the papers this week." His face went pale. "Is it because of that date of hers?" So he knew more than I thought. "Yes, son. Because of that and many other things. I'm fighting for custody of you and Emma. I need you to trust me. I'm doing this to protect both of you." Brandon was silent for long seconds. Then he looked up. "Dad, I want to stay with you. No matter what happens, I want to stay with you." Those words broke something inside me, but I held firm. "I'll make sure that happens." After he left, I stared at the family photo on the desk, the last piece of a life that no longer existed. Tomorrow, the war would truly begin, and this time, I was ready. The sheriff served the papers to Jessica at work on a Thursday afternoon. I wasn't there to see it, but a friend of Kyle's who worked in the same building told him. She walked out of the office pale, clutching the envelope as if it would explode. She burst into the house at 6 p.m., storming through the door like a hurricane, the papers in her hand, her face contorted with hatred. "What the hell is this?" Jessica screamed, throwing the divorce documents onto the kitchen counter where I was helping Emma with her homework. "Emma, go to your room, sweetie," I said calmly. My daughter looked at us both, scared, but obeyed. When she went upstairs, I turned to Jessica. "It's exactly what it says. I'm filing for divorce and for custody." "You can't do this!" Her voice rose to a shriek. "You can't take my children from me!" "I'm not taking anything," I replied, my voice firm. "You abandoned them when you decided Tyler Brooks was more important than your family." Jessica's face turned red. "This is control. You've always been controlling, Ryan. You always needed to know where I was, what I was doing." Then I took my phone out of my pocket and opened the photo folder Greg had sent me.
This is about 18 years of marriage that you threw away for a 31-year-old who is using you for my business contacts. Did you really think Tyler cared about you, or did you simply not care that he was using you? Her eyes widened when she saw the photos. You sent someone to follow me. You invaded my privacy. You stole $40,000 from our joint account, I replied, feeling my voice harden. You lied for 6 months. You have no right whatsoever to talk to me about privacy. Jessica gripped the counter, her previously defiant posture beginning to crumble. Ryan, please, we can fix this. I made a mistake, but we can get through this. No, I replied firmly. You won't play the victim now. You made your choice. Now live with the consequences. She tried another strategy. Her voice became soft, almost tearful. Think about the children. Brandon and Emma need their mother. Don't do this to them. I am thinking about the children, I replied, and that's exactly why I'm making sure they have a stable father. You can have supervised visits. The court will decide the rest. Jessica's expression twisted into something ugly, resentful. You will regret this. I'm going to tell everyone what you did. I'll make sure everyone knows what kind of man you really are. Go ahead, I replied, looking directly into her eyes. I have 18 years of being a good husband and a good father. You have 6 months of hotel receipts and lies. Let's see who people will believe. She grabbed her purse and lunged toward the door. Before leaving, she turned. This isn't over, Ryan. Yes, it is. After she left, Brandon came downstairs. He had clearly heard everything. Dad, are we going to be okay? He asked in a tiny voice. I put my arm around his shoulder.
Would you be willing to share what you know? Absolutely, Victoria said. Tyler destroyed my family. If I can stop him from doing the same to yours, I'll help. I have messages, emails, everything. Your wife isn't special to him. She's just another mark. After hanging up, I immediately called Amanda. We have Tyler Brox's ex-wife willing to testify, and she has proof that Jessica is part of a pattern. Amanda let out a genuine laugh. Ryan, your wife just handed us the case on a silver platter. Between Rachel, Victoria, the financial records, and her social media meltdown, she doesn't stand a chance. For the first time in weeks, I felt something akin to relief. The courtroom was packed on the day of the final hearing. Jessica sat at the defense table next to her attorney, a young man who looked like he wished he was anywhere else. Amanda sat beside me, the folder full of evidence and an expression of absolute confidence. The judge, a woman in her 60s named Helen Rodriguez, was reviewing the case file as we waited. Finally, she looked up. This court will hear testimony related to custody and asset division in the Ishii versus Ishii case, Judge Rodriguez declared. Miss Foster, you may begin. Amanda stood immediately, commanding the room with her presence. Your Honor, this case is simple. Mr. Ishii was a devoted husband and father for 18 years. The evidence shows that Mrs. Ishii maintained a prolonged extramarital affair, committed financial fraud by stealing $40,000 from the joint account, and demonstrated a pattern of deceit that renders her unfit for primary custody. She presented Greg's photos, the financial records, and Rachel Coleman's testimony. Then Victoria Brox was called to the witness stand. Miss Brox, how do you know the respondent? Amanda asked. Jessica Ishii is having an affair with my ex-husband, Tyler, Victoria said clearly. Tyler has a pattern of targeting married women in corporate positions. He uses them for their professional contacts and then discards them. I have proof that he asked Mrs. Ishii for information about her husband's automotive contacts for his own benefit. Jessica's lawyer tried to object, but Judge Rodriguez waved him off. Continue, Miss Foster. Rachel testified next, explaining how Jessica had been bragging about the affair and showed no remorse. Then Brandon took the stand. Brandon, how has your mother's behavior affected you? Amanda asked carefully. My son's voice was steady, too mature for his 16 years. She stopped being present, always on the phone, always going out. My dad is the one who's been helping with homework, making dinner, taking care of me and Emma.
I want to live with him." I watched Jessica's face fall apart as her own son spoke, but I felt no satisfaction, only sadness for what she had destroyed. Her lawyer tried to paint her as a victim of a controlling husband, but nothing worked. When Jessica was called to the stand, Amanda dismantled her credibility with surgical precision. "Mrs. Ishii, you stated in your social media post that your husband was controlling, but you had full access to the bank accounts, correct?" "Yes, but..." "And you used that access to steal $40,000 over 4 months?" Jessica's face flushed. "I wasn't stealing, I was protecting myself." "Protecting yourself by funding an extramarital affair?" Amanda attacked. "No further questions, Your Honor." Judge Rodriguez took a short recess and then returned with her decision. "I have reviewed all the evidence and testimonies," she said. "Mrs. Ishii's actions demonstrate a profound lack of judgment and disregard for the children's well-being. I grant Mr. Ishii primary physical custody of the 2 minor children. Mrs. Ishii will have supervised visits on alternate weekends to be reevaluated in 9 months. Furthermore, Mrs. Ishii must repay the $40,000 withdrawn without consent, plus court costs and a portion of Mr. Ishii's attorney's fees." The sound of the gavel echoed, and it was over. Jessica remained motionless, her lawyer desperately whispering beside her. I stood up, shook Amanda's hand, and walked out of the courtroom with my head held high. Outside, Brandon and Emma were waiting with Kyle. Emma ran to me, and I lifted her into my arms. "Is it over, Daddy?" she asked. "Yes, sweetie, it's over. Let's go home." 6 months after the divorce, life had finally found a new rhythm. Brandon was doing great in his junior year of high school, even talking about colleges. Emma made the soccer team and was making new friends. The house felt lighter, as if everyone could finally breathe. I sold the house in Scottsdale. Too many bad memories. I bought a smaller one in North Phoenix with a huge yard. The kids helped me choose, and the place finally felt like ours. The automotive company was doing better than ever. When you're not emotionally shattered by your own wife's betrayal, you have the energy to work. I closed 2 major contracts and hired 3 new employees. Jessica's supervised visits were awkward at first. She seemed beaten, quiet, a shadow of her former self. Tyler left her 2 months after the divorce was finalized, just as Victoria predicted. When Jessica lost access to my professional contacts, he lost interest. One Saturday afternoon, after dropping Emma off at home, Jessica asked to talk to me. "What is it?" I asked, keeping my tone neutral. "I wanted to say I'm sorry," she said, her eyes red. "For everything. I destroyed our family because I was selfish and stupid. I don't expect you to forgive me, but I wanted you to know that I truly regret it." I looked at her for a long moment. The anger that sustained me through the worst months was no longer there. In its place was something much softer, something like pity. "I appreciate you saying that," I finally replied, "but it doesn't change anything. You made your choices, and we all have to live with them." "I know," she whispered. "Can I ask one thing?" she then asked. "Can I spend more time with the kids? I want to rebuild that relationship." I thought of Brandon and Emma, the right they had to a relationship with their mother, as long as she was truly willing to earn it. Jessica let the tears fall unchecked. "Thank you, Ryan. I will be better. I promise." When she left, I felt something unexpected. Hope. Not for the 2 of us, that was dead, but hope that she could become someone our children could respect again. That evening, I barbecued in the backyard while Brandon played catch with Emma. Kyle showed up with some beers and his favorite potato salad. "You look happy, little brother," he said, handing me a cold bottle. "I am," I replied, watching my kids laugh. "It took a lot to get here, but yes, I'm happy." "You did a good job, little brother." He protected his children and kept his dignity. That's what matters. Later, after everyone was asleep, I stood on the back porch looking up at the stars. 18 years of my life had been built on a foundation that turned out to be sand. But from the rubble, I built something stronger. A home where my children felt safe, where honesty mattered, where no one had to walk on eggshells. Jessica tried to destroy me, but she failed. Because I learned something important in the middle of it all. Strength isn't never falling. It's falling, getting up, dusting yourself off, and fighting for what matters. And that's exactly what I did.
Reddit comment of the day. Funny how some people only discover the value of family after destroying it, right? In the end, she lost her husband, her children, the money, the lover, and even got therapy sessions as a bonus. As for the OP, original poster, he gained peace, custody of the children, and a new yard where no one calls him controlling. I guess someone here came out on top, and it wasn't